President Clinton goes after the NRA before a gathering of law enforcement families. In Japan tonight, major police raids on the cult suspected of that deadly subway gas attack. And in the O.J. Simpson trial, an opening for the defense, the past record of the DNA lab.
From NBC News, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. In Tokyo tonight and in this country, recent experiences with domestic terrorism are driving the day's news. We begin in this country. There is no more controversial or influential force in American politics today than the NRA, the gun lobby. And it's back in the crosshairs tonight in a major way. When, following the Oklahoma City bombing, the NRA refused to disavow a fundraising letter calling federal ATF agents, quote, jackbooted thugs, former President Bush was outraged and resigned as a member. Tonight, President Clinton has taken on the NRA in a special setting. Here's NBC's Brian Williams.
The White House wanted to send a warning to the NRA, so what better audience than the loved ones of the 157 peace officers killed in the line of duty last year, and some who barely survived.
When the NRA holds its annual meeting later this week, I want them to know they can pressure Congress all they want to try to repeal the assault weapons ban, but as long as I am president, that ban will be the law of our land.
In attendance were the relatives of some who died in the Oklahoma City bombing, which the president said unmasked the evil of some in the U.S. He gave credit to his predecessor for his resignation from the NRA.
I also agree with the fine letter that President Bush wrote just a few days ago. Law enforcement officers in this country deserve our respect and support. No one has the right to run them down or to suggest that somehow it is all right for them to be put in harm's way. That is not the American way, and anybody who does it ought to be ashamed of themselves.
The White House confirmed that following a state dinner in Ukraine last week at midnight East Coast time, Clinton called Bush to congratulate him on his stand against the gun lobby. The NRA tried to reverse the PR damage from Bush's resignation with full-page ads today in about half a dozen newspapers, including their unsubstantiated claim that for everyone like George Bush who resigns, they pick up 8 new members. A senior administration official says the president has asked for and received advice on just how far he can go in his public comments before he further inflames certain individuals and groups. They say so far his comments are within limits. Tom?
Brian Williams, the NRA officials are saying that their fundraising letter is a home run. They're gaining membership, not losing it. Is the president inclined to reopen the Waco investigation to cut off the NRA on those claims?
The White House reaction, to paraphrase, is been there, done that. They say there have been 2 written reports, congressional hearings. They think the NRA is unfairly using Waco as an excuse, and there will be no repudiation from this building, they say.
Thank you very much, Brian Williams, the White House tonight. In Japan, more high drama tonight. That country has been in a state of high anxiety since the fatal gas attack in a subway. Well, in Japan tonight, a major police raid on the cult suspected of launching the attack. NBC's Kiko Itasaka is in Tokyo tonight.
The raid began before dawn. Thousands of police are storming the Mount Fuji compound, where cult leader Shoko Asahara is believed to be hiding. Investigators have warrants for the arrest of Asahara and 20 of his followers. Police at the same time are carrying out raids at 130 Ohm sites throughout the country. Investigators say they have conclusive proof that Asahara ordered the nerve gas attack on the Tokyo subway, which left 12 dead and over 5,000 injured. Earlier today, police arrested the intelligence minister of the cult, Yoshinori Inoue, who masterminded the attack. Over the past 8 weeks of unrelenting investigation, police found conclusive evidence that the cult produced the deadly gas sarin on the compound. They uncovered tons of chemicals and components to produce automatic weapons. There is evidence that the Ohm kidnapped, drugged, and brainwashed members, as well as forcing them to sign over their assets to the cult. Police have also found that the cult was producing illegal stimulant drugs and selling them to organized crime groups.
The search for Shoko Asahara was the largest ever launched in Japan. Thousands of police and military investigators joined in the hunt for the man who nearly brought Japan to its knees. Kiko Itasaka, NBC News, Tokyo.
And on the other side of the world, in Central Africa tonight, another modern horror story continues. The Ebola virus now has moved into the capital of Zaire, Kinshasa. NBC's Keith Miller tonight on the frenetic efforts to contain this virus, one of the deadliest known to mankind.
This is the last line of defense. Hospital workers in the Zairean city of Kikwit suit up for battle against one of the world's most deadly diseases. Protection from spreading the Ebola virus is crucial, since over 60% of the second-generation victims were healthcare workers. Today, the World Health Organization confirmed 84 cases of the disease. 77 people are already dead. Disease control specialists are arriving from all over the world to combat the virus.
We're all looking for the Holy Grail, as I've termed it, looking for the source of Ebola. Nobody knows really where it ultimately comes from.
The Zairean government has placed the city of 500,000 people under quarantine. Ebola is spreading. Health officials are trying to track down patients with the virus who left the hospital before the quarantine took effect. Fear of Ebola is moving as fast as the virus. People refuse to bury this victim, terrified to come in contact with the contaminated corpse.
But no one dares even dig the hole, dig the grave.
Pamphlets will be distributed in the capital, Kinshasa, giving the population of 5 million advice on how to avoid catching the virus. Journalists who have visited the infected area were today ordered into quarantine. A health ministry official said his government didn't want to be responsible for spreading the virus overseas. The World Health Organization says it is confident that the precautions it is taking against contamination will help to contain the Ebola virus. But the death toll is almost certain to go higher, since it can take weeks before symptoms of the disease appears. Keith Miller, NBC News, Kinshasa, Zaire.
And in China, an underground nuclear bomb test just 4 days after China signed the treaty to limit the spread of atomic weapons. The blast registered as far away as Germany. It was strongly condemned by most of the world powers. When NBC Nightly News continues, at the O.J. Simpson trial, the defense hammers DNA scientist Robin Cotton about past records. And how some inner city kids are learning to cope with life's challenges on the chessboard.
Hyperkeratosis? Symptom: persistent, itchy, flaky scalp. Solution: Neutrogena T-Gel. It works. Neutrogena T-Gel Shampoo.
My son is bringing his lady friend for dinner, and I've got such gas. So I take my Lanta gas relief gel caps with the best and only medicine for gas relief and an advanced gel cap. I feel great. Can't wait to meet her.
Weeds keep coming back, then kill the roots with Roundup. No root, no weed, no problem. Roundup.
Nobody does it like you, the way that you do. Hoover, nobody does it like you.
Hey! Where is everybody? They've gone for the Qualidays. Buick Qualidays. For a little while, Buick Quality is on sale. Save on Sporty Regal. And on the American family car, LeSabre. Factory to dealer incentives continue on Reliable Century. Where is everybody? Celebrating Buick Quality during Buick Qualidays. Better hurry.
The latest on the O.J. Simpson trial tonight, day 6 on the stand for DNA scientist Dr. Robin Cotton from Los Angeles once again. Here's NBC's David Bloom.
Today, a prosecution scientist conceded that her DNA laboratory has made mistakes in the past. Yes. And that if the lab made similar mistakes in the Simpson case, then the DNA test results are irrelevant. At issue, so-called false positives, where a lab incorrectly concludes there is a DNA match, when in fact there is not. Under cross-examination, Dr. Robin Cotton admitted that happened twice in the late 1980s at her laboratory, Cellmark.
Yes, you are correct. This is a false match. This is an incorrect match. It was caused by laboratory error.
The defense shifted tactics today, attacking not the science of DNA, but the lab that did much of the testing. Simpson attorney Peter Neufeld arguing there'd been an outbreak of contamination. But prosecutors were quick to point out that since those two earlier mistakes, Cellmark has conducted 466 practice tests without a single error.
David, what about the comportment of Judge Ito during all of this?
Well, Tom, as you well know, Judge Ito has been trying to pick up the pace of this trial, but there's nothing that infuriates him more than when he tells people to stop talking and they don't.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, you're right. You're right. Okay, I guess we have all possible.
Wait! First of all, you can't talk at the same time. Secondly, when I say wait, everybody stops, including you, Dr. Cotton, including you, Mr. Neufeld.
It was just the latest of Judge Ito's outbursts. Dr. Cotton, after 6 days on the stand, will wrap up her testimony tomorrow. Tom?
Thank you very much. David Bloom tonight in Los Angeles once again. We will have more on today's developments in our nightly closer look at the trial. Jack Ford and Ira Reiner coming along later. In Washington tonight, all sides agree this year it will be different. Whole governments could disappear. Sacred cows will be surgically altered. Business as usual won't be. NBC's Lisa Myers on the first day of the rest of your budget life.
Throughout the Capitol, Republicans and Democrats are digging in for one of the biggest battles in decades.